Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and welcome to the late one. I'm with yourself and yours truly, Silburn Sidil. Let me know if you can hear me. Um, and tonight, as I said, it's going to be what did I say? I tweaked the title a bit because I said I wanted to make sure that I go against the flow. And the title of tonight is "Don't Go with the Flow," the late one, the unapologetic voice, where anything goes, but most importantly, we don't go with the flow. Yeah, don't go with the flow. And I say why I say don't go with the flow because it's a powerful concept which I created a few years ago when I started the Silver Show, which is in 2015. And one of the most important thing is that we cannot afford as much as we say to follow. Cannot afford to just follow as as typical things. And so I created this concept called "Don't go with the flow." Don't go with the flow. If you go with the flow, you'll be in someone else's stream, but create your own rivers. That is so crucial and that is so fundamental. Today is the 14th of the 10th October. Like and subscribe to the Silburn Show, YouTube. Remember to like, subscribe right away, and share. Let's get on with it. Before I go, I'm going to do something which is special. I am going to play that little excerpt of Don't Go with the Flow so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. And here we go. Push that to the stage and boom. Hi, I'm Silburn, and I just want to share with you today. I just had a filming, and I just felt like I want to share this thought. And this thought is this: do not go with the flow, or you'll be in someone else's stream. What I say is, create your own rivers. Don't go with the flow, or you'll be in someone else's stream. Create your own rivers. You see, when you go with the flow, anything happens. You're just going left and right without purpose. Sometimes you just say, "Man, I don't know. I'll just go with the flow." But what I want to say is this: when you create your own rivers. And note what I said, create your own rivers, plural. Mean to say you don't just one river, you're creating streams. And you're not actually just going with the flow, you're going against the grain, creating diversions. I just want to encourage someone today, don't go with the flow. Do not go with the flow. Okay? Definitely don't go with the flow. Now, one of the things that I saw today, I guess everybody is familiar with what is happening now in regard to COVID, and there's a familiar saying which many people are saying is that the the cure is worse off. The cure is worse off, meaning to say that everyone is trying to find this solution. Everyone is trying to find this what should I say, the cure for COVID. And at the same time, while trying to find the cure for COVID, it is somewhat looking to create a sort of devastation, poverty. And right now, one actually don't even know exactly what is happening. I put up a post today, which is simply this, and I'm just going to go through a couple of things. And I said, presidents, prime ministers, scientists, who to really believe? Presidents, prime ministers, scientists, who to really believe? People are not anymore trusting and believing the authorities in regards to what to do in regards to this COVID thing. Who is to believe? And I think the only thing, as I said, which seemed to be certain, is this: COVID. COVID seems to be a bit more certain than anything else. And also, I said, and Jesus Christ, who is Lord, is definitely certain. But that, of course, depending on a person's belief and what their religious belief is. And in America as well, it's the same sort of thing whereby the WHO just recently said, this is what they said: hey, guys, you governments, you prime ministers, you leaders, Stop using lockdown as a way to sort of deal with the whole aspect of COVID. That's what they're actually trying to say. Don't use lockdown for that. And Trump said, see what I've been telling you? Stop using lockdown. Open up the place. Let's get cracking. Let's get moving. Let's live life. Anti-groups are coming up saying, hey, let's stop this whole shishad. Let's get back to normal. And of course, you wear your mask, you do your social distance, and at the same time, you exercise restraint. So the question is now, if the mask is working, or is it? If the social distance is working, if it is, and if the group of 6 or so is working, and if it is, then why the lockdown? I sometimes think of the lockdown as something like this. If the lockdown is a way of trying to control the virus, and I'm speaking not as a scientist, not somebody who knows the ins and outs and the mechanics, but thinking on a logical level, and think of with this. If you lock down trying to contain something, then once bitten, twice shy. We did it in March the 24th, my birthday. Don't know why they did that day. March 24th, they locked down. And then we are now April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 7 months later, and it's like it's increasing back. I think they have said they've reached the level where it was before the lockdown. Hospitals are increasing, but also there are deaths, but the death is not as much as possible as it was before. Why? Because there's a saying that the medical fraternity have learned a lot now, and by learning a lot, they're able to sort of deal with the whole aspect of this. So my simple saying is this, and it's not a conspiracy theory or anything, but why not go through the whole process by actually applying and be stringent with all the measures, stay alert, control the virus, save lives. Listen, I don't know, you know, I don't know, but it is very concerning, and as was said on the page today, only COVID seems a bit certain. President, prime ministers, woo, everybody say follow the signs, but who knows? It goes further, and this one, it says, is the cure, right? And I'm going to try to find it right here. Everything I'm seeing is about Amy. I'm going to come on to that. Everything is Amy. Is the cure worse? Is the cure worse? What's your views and what do you think? I mean, what is it? Boris Johnson defends the region of the curbs, not ruling out, because it is like they're planning on this massive scale of lockdown. If where is it? I saw it earlier. Coronavirus, can Johnson hold out? Can Johnson hold out on this? Yeah. Can Johnson hold out against more restrictions? Freedom loving Tory time again. Can he hold out? It's clear in black and white now that the scientific advisors used to boost funding, it may be even past the time to act. Back again where we were. Past the time to act. Are we running late again? What do you think? Are we running late again? Should there be a lockdown now? The health secretary, the opposition leader, what he's saying? It's time to go for it. Let's go for the lockdown. That's what he's saying. Many people's lives, many people's lives are being affected at this time. Many people are suffering. Many people will be suffering as a result of COVID. Going to work, if they can't get to work, those who are doing physical stuff, manual thing, leading into the Christmas. I don't know. What do you think? Right? Liverpool shut down. Right? Wales to ban people coming from UK COVID hotspots. Right? Northern Ireland schools to close and bars to shut. Right? France orders curfew in 9 cities to battle the virus. And even Jamaica reach to the point where they're saying, hey, listen, we have got to treat everybody as if they got COVID because we are in the community spread now. How do you protect yourself? Yeah. I don't know. I think I think sense of could it when you had these other crazy viruses and sicknesses going around in the past, how did they deal with it without the advent of social media and all this other thing? How did they go through with it? Were there a lockdown? Were people able to lock down when they had these flus in the past? Or people had to carry on? People had to die? I'm not advocating that people need to die or so like that, but what's the way forward? I just simply think that one of the best way forward is just to go through it. One has just got to go through with the process. You know, one has just got to go through the process, and by going through with the process, then whatever happens happens. Because somehow you've got to build a sense of immunity, got to build a sense of strength, because you know it is. I don't. This is nothing to do with even COVID or so. But one gets the impression that we're living in a world now whereby there is the lack of strength, the lack of vigor, and the lack of tenacity. And I'm not saying playing around with the virus to say that it is not serious. It is serious. But when you look at what is happening now, it's just like on a bigger scale. And if I just shift a while ago, it's like the new generation which is coming up is a generation which is pure pure. Pure pure is a term from Jamaica mean to say not having any strong sense of backbone. And somehow I believe that the government and leaders have contributed to that fundamentally. I believe that leaders are now so flip flopping that there is no sense of clarity and people have no sense of leadership, so people don't know what to do. The common sense thing of someone taking care of their family, taking care of their health, which should be a responsibility of individuals, is now being taken away. It's just like how they say that you take away the, God, the you take away the praying out of the school, you take away the discipline out of the parents' hands, and now what you're left with somewhat with chaos, right? And it is concerning, ladies and gentlemen. It is concerning, and love to hear what you think. I love to hear your thoughts on this because life cannot go on like this. I believe everybody is in this whole situation. But anyway, I'm not going to say COVID is here, but COVID is here. Whether it is to stay or not, that is something else. Another thing which I find which has been in the news today, and it's very interesting, is what's happening in America.
In the circuit, we saw the travesty during the primary earlier this year, during a pandemic, that many polling places were closed and lines were incredibly long. In Milwaukee, a city of more than 500,000 people, located in a county with 70% of that state's black population, you literally saw
Amy
out of
Coney
the
Barrett.
city's 180
Right?
polling places, only 5
Amy Coney Barrett. This is a very
were
interesting
open, pushing people
development
into
which is going
hours
on
and
in
hours
America.
long
And,
waiting.
and I'm playing it there
Now,
for those on
comparatively,
Instagram if you
66
can't see,
polling
but those
places
on
were
Facebook.
open in the city of
Uh,
Madison, a
it's
predominantly
very
white
interesting,
city
very
half the
interesting.
size of Milwaukee.
And I don't take
And the
sides,
U.S.
but
Supreme
maybe
Court
people
made
might
this
say
all
I'm taking
worse
sides in regards to
with a
politics,
ruling that
American
restricted
politics.
mail-in voting
And I
at
know
the
Americans
last minute
sometimes
during
will
a
say stay
pandemic
out of
where
American
black
politics and
Americans are
stick to
dying
Brexit and
twice the
stick to
rate
the
of white
UK.
Americans.
But I say
And let's be clear,
hogwash
this is
because
part of a
hey, at the end of the
nationwide
day,
problem with racial
um,
disparities in voting.
we're all
A
in this
recent study found
international
that
bubble.
residents of
And by being
entirely
in this
black
international
neighborhoods
bubble,
wait
we can
almost
speak about
30%
anything, we can
longer in
speak about
lines
everything,
to
and
vote.
no one has any
And they were
full control
74% more
over
likely to
what
spend
is
more
really
than
happening.
that half
But
an
upon
hour
looking
at a
at this
polling
whole
place.
thing with going
And in your
on in
dissent
America
in
and looking
Cantor
at
versus
this even
Barr, you said
confirmation thing going
something
on,
about
it is
virtue-based
just so clear and
restrictions, which really
evident what is
raised my
happening.
concern.
The Republicans
And that
hate
virtue-based restrictions have
the
applied to
Democrats,
civic rights
and the
like voting
Democrats
and
hate
jury service,
Republicans,
not
right?
individual rights to
And
possess
that
a
is simply
gun.
what's happening.
This
The
approach to
Biden
the
camp
franchise
hate the
sort of
Trump camp,
pulls
the
up a
Trump
lot of
camp hate
history
the
where
Biden
people
camp,
used
and therefore they
virtue-based
split right down the
restrictions in the
middle.
past.
Black
It's
Lives
been very
Matter is
well
coming
documented
and
in
everything,
our
and it's
history.
all going to
Ideas that you
massive
can
inflow.
disenfranchise people
Some are
if
saying
they
that
don't
if
meet certain
whatever
virtue
happens
tests.
with
And
this
many of these tests I
election,
know
there
you're
is
aware
going to
of,
be
but these are
somewhat
like,
of
are you worthy enough if you can't
a
say
civil
the
war.
whole
Okay,
Declaration of
and
Independence.
that is
These are
so
tests that
very
John Lewis
concerning.
used to talk about. Can you count the
But
bubbles
I
in a
keep
bar of
saying
soap?
that
You're familiar with that, I'm sure.
one has got to
Senator,
really
I want to be
watch
very
the
clear,
media.
and I tried to
One has
clear
got to
this up
really watch
yesterday.
the
This
media, and not
concept
just
of
watch the
virtue,
media,
I
but
think,
actually look to
especially
see
for
what is being
people who are
fed
watching this who
to
don't know
people.
about the law,
What
does not
is
mean that I
actually
think that people's voting
being
rights can be taken away
fed
because they're not
to
good people, or
people
that I think literacy
is the
tests are
thing,
okay or anything like
right?
that. It's a
I mean,
concept that was present in
watching
color.
this
Cantor versus
this
Barr
debate
was
which is
not
going
about
on
voting
right here
rights,
now,
and I very
and
clearly
what
have
I
said
see
voting is an
completely and
individual and
clearly in it
fundamental right
is
that is critical
simply
to
So
our
a
poll
situation
democracy.
taxes, you would
whereby
say, unconstitutional.
Senator,
the
voting is a
Democrats are
fundamental
actually
individual right that is
on their
critical
agenda,
to our democracy. The
and you can
14th
see in the
Amendment, the point I
background that
was
the
making is that the
Republicans
14th
is on their
Amendment does
agenda,
expressly
and you can see
contemplate
the
that
lady right
states
in the
might
middle, who's a
deprive
brilliant
felons of
lady, is
voting
caught
rights
up
because
right
it's
in the
in the
middle,
So
text.
you're jumping
and
into
she's trying to
felonies. I
play
just asked you
safe,
about poll
playing safe to her
taxes.
master Donald
And I
Trump,
tried to point
and
out to
trying
you
to
with
play
the
safe to the
picture of just
profession
one
that
place
she's
where
in.
African
She's
American
trying to
communities as a
stay
whole
within
waiting
the
so much
canons
longer
of
than
the
you and I
law,
might have ever
and yet at
waited
the same time,
in
person are
lines.
trying
I'm
to
trying to draw
call her
something
out
here
or
for
sort
you.
of,
So I just asked about
you
poll
understand?
taxes.
Draw me
Didn't get to
tongue.
felony
That's what they say.
disenfranchisement yet.
Draw me
Poll
tongue, if
taxes
anything. That's what they're trying
unconstitutional,
to do.
yes?
Okay, I
Draw
was
me tongue,
pointing out with the felony
as they'll
disenfranchisement,
say
the
in
point
Jamaica,
I
if
was
anything.
making in Cantor
But it's
versus
so
Barr. I wasn't
interesting.
trying to anticipate your
But the more I
question.
see this,
I was
and
just
I
saying that
watch
that was
I
the
watch the
context in
CNN,
which I
and I
discussed it.
watch
I
the
think
Fox,
Section 2
and
of
I
the
can see
Voting
if I
Rights
listen to
Act,
CNN, I
which
lean one way. If I
prohibits
listen to Fox, I lean one
procedures
way.
and
So one has got
practices,
to
Right.
have this
Right.
middle
poll
ground here.
taxes
Thank you.
fall.
Yeah, thank you
And
very much.
you know
Thank
what?
you very much. You're
Hey,
jumping
hey
ahead and
Herbert,
spending
how
so
are you
much
doing?
time on my questioning.
I've always said I was made in
So,
America knows a repeat
so
of
let's jump though.
1980 Jamaica general
Let's jump
election.
ahead to
Wow,
this, and obviously the
wow.
case in Florida that you're well aware of, I
1980
imagine,
Jamaica general
where
elections.
we had
Wow.
significant
Now,
felony
Herbert,
disenfranchisement.
I
I've
think
read a lot about the
1980
history of
general
that going back to the
elections,
post-Civil War
the
period,
war that took
the
place
fall
or
of
the killing was
Reconstruction,
before
thousands of blacks
the
being
election,
lynched,
not after election.
massacres going on in our
What they're
country,
saying in
from the
America
Colfax massacre to the
is what is
Greenwood
going to
massacre,
happen
and laws being
after
passed
the
systematically in
election.
places to
If
try to
Trump
make it
wins,
harder for blacks to vote,
repercussion.
designing
If
felony
Biden wins,
disenfranchisement laws,
repercussions.
and putting those aside as
As
the
it
black codes,
unfolds,
easy to
you
disenfranchise
know.
lots of African Americans. So this
But
is
in
why there's
regards to
still a
this
good
whole
origin
thing
here.
with
Now,
Amy
we see this
Barrett
coming to the fact that
Combs,
now we have places
it
like
is clearly
Florida,
evident
and by the
that
way, there are
America
people,
is
there are levels of
completely torn. Many
disenfranchisement for
people
African
saying
Americans, upwards of,
if
I
Trump
think in
doesn't win
America, 1 in every 17
and Biden
blacks
comes in, it is Kamala Harris, and
are
Kamala
unable
Harris
to
is a
vote because of
radical,
felony
liberal, or
disenfranchisement. I
whatever
see by
like
your
that. But
expression that's a
you know,
surprising data
either
point.
way,
I hope that you would look
it
at
is very
that.
clear that
And yet in Florida, about
there are puppets on the string. Don't know if they are the puppets
774,000
or we are the
people
puppets.
have
Or the
completed their
media
felony
is
sentences. Are
the
now being
middle
prevented
person
from
that
voting
is creating the
because
puppets,
they still owe
whereby it is
fines and
telling people
fees. These
how
are
to think
Americans,
and how people are
disproportionately
thinking
blacks,
as
are
well.
being
And
subject to a
because of
modern
that,
day tax.
it
In
is
other words,
like
if I'm
everybody's led
wealthy enough, I
astray,
can pay that. If I'm African American,
and
disproportionately poor,
the emotion. I
I
call it
can't do that.
this
1 in 5 black
ambush of
people in
emotion,
Florida
emotional
couldn't
ambush.
vote because of felony
Emotional ambush is a
disenfranchisement.
theory
Now,
and a
this is
concept which
well
I have
documented
created or
history. I've gone
developed,
through some of it.
whereby you are
But as you are
slammed
seeking
left,
this
right, and
highest office in the
center
land,
by different
I
things
bring this
and
full
trying to
circle of our
get you to whip you
conversation
up into a
because,
frenzy
again,
to
another
think a
study by the
particular way
American Bar
by powers
Association,
that be that is up there
which I would
controlling.
recommend to you,
And you've got
shows
to be
that a
very
person with
careful
a
about that.
felony
It's
commitment
like
in
someone
America
said to me earlier
is
at
subject
some
to
point that,
40,000
man,
collateral consequences.
I'm coming off
In other words, we now have
Facebook. I can't deal with Facebook anymore. It's too toxic. But when the person speaks, the person always speak with some sense and some calm and some sort of level of realism from my perspective. And I said, no. You shouldn't leave Facebook for that. You should control Facebook. In a sense, you take control of the situation. Don't let it control you. Because if all good people leave these sort of platforms and leave the Looney Tunes and the mad crazy conspiracy fanatics, I mean, it is pumping out information to young people, pumping out information there to the vulnerable, to the impressionable minds. And guess what's going to happen? Total chaos. Total chaos. That's why I'm saying here. Yes, there'll be a domino effect. And the domino effect, I mean, can what happened in America affect people in the UK? Can what happened in America affect the persons in Jamaica? Can what is happening in America affect the whole world to a certain extent? Interest or a sense of concerns towards America? Is it? And I tell you this, I tell you how things have changed. Things have changed so much that I was really impressed by this image. And this image here, what it shows is Years ago, and I'm sorry, those on Instagram, you may not be able to see this, but you've got Jesus, a figure of Jesus with the bread and the fish, the five loaves and the barley or whatever like that, and the fish. And the people now are actually saying, hey, I can't eat that, I'm a vegan. Another one said, has the fish been tested for mercury? Another one said, is that bread gluten free? Man, things have just changed completely to the point whereby, hang on a second, where did we jump off? Where did we go wrong? Whereby everything now is being questioned. I'm not Nothing is wrong with questioning things, but how things have actually changed. How things have actually changed is phenomenal. You know, what used to be right is not right. It's wrong. What used to be wrong is right. And therefore, it's like you need to actually have to go back now to your family, to your mother, to your father, and say, hang on a second, we need to talk, man, because I'm really confused as to what's been going on in this world. Because what I learned years ago it has evolved. So the question is, how do you maintain a standard level of integrity and walk that rope which you have? What is it that you're telling your children? When you're saying something to your children, now you've got to actually think about it and say, hang on a second, how long will this last? How long will they come back and say that's not so? How long will they be in school and they come home and say, Daddy, Mommy, that's not it? So, what's the role of parents? What's the role of adults, if anything? The state, totally control. I know I'm going around the circle, but I really don't want to go with the flow. As I said, anything goes. Most definitely, if you look at the whole price of the first Gulf War and look at the effect today, you know, the listen, like the man, the son, the man, like the man, his son, and the donkey, like the man, his son, and the donkey. Ladies and gentlemen, where do you see this world going? I'm not being a doom-monger, but all I'm trying to say is that things are changing right before our very eyes, and if we don't take control of it, you're going to find yourself going to walk. You've got to ensure that you're not walked by the media, depending on which side you've got to. I don't know. It's like one has got to sort of anchor yourself and stay right in the middle. Anchor yourself, stay right in the middle, and stay focused. Anchor yourself, stay right in the middle, and stay focused. The mind. Everyone is going after the mind. The mind concept. Everyone is getting the mind. Even with the voting, black persons, they say, more aligned to the Democrats, and others are now saying they're breaking away and going to a Republican because they're not free from the platform. But really and truly, it's a mind game. It's a mind game where somebody's actually, or people are trying to say, listen, I want a mind, because really and truly it transforms, or it transfers, or it translates, rather is the right word, into votes. It translates into votes. And that's what they want, into vote. So therefore, as someone said, instead of saying, let's go and vote, it needs to change very quickly to say, let's go and run. Not run away from anyone, but run. Run for offices. This doesn't apply just in America. Run for offices. Everything you want to have change, you want to make change, run. Run for president, run for councillors, run for congressmen, run for councilmen, run for senate, run, run, run. That's the word that should be. That's the word that should be, because I tell you this, and I think about this a lot of time, and I don't say that much. But every time I see Black History comes around, and I see the whole hula hoop, and I see all the sort of interest, and I see all the sort of push towards inclusion, and for Black people to be involved, I sometimes say to myself, are we somewhat some form of persons with some handicap, some sort of weakness, some sort of needing a crutch, needing a hand up, needing a heads up? Are we some invalid with weakness? And I think about that a lot. And I saw a guy recently saying something, and this is what he said. I'm just speaking here, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, don't go with the flow, just speaking here. And the guy said there should be, instead of a Black History Month, a black culture, no, not a black, not in a cultural, a cultural month. A cultural month whereby one reflects on all the various cultures within the UK, and one um, see this bigness whereby all come together. Seems a bit like the big the big thing that David Cameron have, the big council. I can't believe that I forget that. I'm even a bloody conservative, you know what I mean? You know, the big thing, you know, and I thought about it for a while, and while at the same time, while I lean towards the right, while at the same time I don't get caught up in all the various things, but I do have to acknowledge a fact that the danger of taking away a Black History Month and call it with this cultural month where every culture come together and celebrate the diversity, you find yourself in that same situation whereby you're marginalized. A group is marginalized. And by a group being marginalized, you're back again with the same reason why they created in the first place a Black History Month. But I look forward to the day when a Black History Month is not what is quest for, but it is removed, and every day there's an emphasis, or every month there's an emphasis on the training and the teachings of Black history. And if it's for a Japanese to teach and learn their Japanese, and if it's for Asian to teach and learn their Asian, and if it's for a Jew to teach and learn what they have to learn, because I believe somehow that many different nationals and many different cultures, they're teaching their children, they're teaching their people what their history is about. And I believe it is imperative so much for Black people to actually do that, right? And not to wait around for a month, which is to be considered as a Black History Month, a day to be considered that is what we're going to feed ourselves into. It is time somehow for a stepping up process. It is time somehow for the leaders, somewhat even in the Black community, who somewhat benefit from the demoralization, who benefit from the inequality, who benefit from the injustice, sometimes to step aside. And I can give you two examples where I see some of the blockages. But let me hear what Herbert has to say right here. If we're not careful, we'll be addicted to the happenings of what is going on in politics, the news media, and what is called the conspiracy theory. By the time we wake up, we lose control. And that is the reason why I never say woke. I never say woke. I tend to don't grab onto these things, grab onto these different labels, because everyone grab onto the label. I'm a left. I'm a right. You know. Or we need to change the whole thing from BME, from Black minority and ethnic. Let's call ourselves something else. We call it Asian, South Asian. I said, listen, don't call us nothing. Let's call us by your name, man. My name is Silbert. I'm a Black man. You know, Herbert, you're a Black person or so like. Let's keep it simple. Let's get into those technicalities. Everybody wants labels. Everyone wants categories. You do not have to have these categories. One of the things I hate to do, even though I work with the court system, and I will put on a badge if I got to put on a badge. But once I don't have to put on a badge, I take it off. I hate being labels. I hate having a badge or so like that. I hate to be, I'm very conservative in my dressing. I will not put just something that stands out too much. I'm always low key as much as possible, you know. And it is very, very, very concerning. Yeah, totally very concerning. I believe very strongly that you know I want to show you. I want to share you something. One time, should I say it? Yes? One time I went to an event. Yeah, went to an event, and there was a lady who did some composing of some Black events or so like that. And while she was there, and people were having this discussion after. And after the discussion, they were saying, why is the mainstream media is not somewhat, you know, playing ball, or why the mainstream media is not somehow supporting Insight to Market. Good afternoon. Good evening. Why is the mainstream media not supporting these sort of events? And instantly I stood up and I said, why we want the mainstream media to do anything? Why don't we do it? And I said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Silburn Show. Welcome to the platform. Growing and developing. And the person who was chairing the thing said, "Okay, okay, Silver, let's not have any plug of your show and stuff like that." And I said, "Man, right there, an opportunity missed, totally missed by someone actually who is in a position where they can actually um, promote or give some credence. Shut it down right there." And that's why I say sometimes, and believe it or not, sometimes some of the blockages of success is right there by the persons who are close to you. Sometimes some of the blockages, even within the black community, is by persons who are in a position that can make it better, but they block it because their success is by keeping things down. Their success is by not allowing things to rise, whereby people can break through. That is why you hardly have much solutions normally going around. You normally don't. Key black activists never really, um, you know, um, you know, uh, you know, show things that are point towards solution. They always perpetuate the same narrative and that keep you in that same position so they can benefit. That's why I don't get too much caught up into this whole thing. Um, as everybody said, but they were hoping to see BBC or Sky. Yeah, of course, they want to see BBC and Sky. I've seen programs whereby persons are saying how to get your stuff on BBC and Sky and the mainstream and stuff like that. When so many local network, local channels are there looking for a heads up, looking for a hands up, wanting to get out there. And all it takes is persons to really put that in it. That is why. How do you think Tyler Perry gets it done? How do you think so? Because persons have to bond together, no matter what. And that is something which is lacking. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I don't go with the flow, and anything goes. And every Wednesday night, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to come from a different angle on different particular issues. And what I'm going to actually do is also have some instant guests that can come in and just drop some nuggets right there as we go. But before we go, I yeah, yeah. But before we go, I've got a very interesting show this Saturday, and you need to actually tune into this. Yeah. Let me ever say before I don't want to lose the momentum right here for anything. As a people, we're own worst and our thinking is so warped. You know, Herbert, I tell you this, I've taken the gloves off and I'll be shedding light and showing my views on lots of these things because until one share these ideas and share these thinkings or whatever like that, we will keep finding going a circle. I don't go with the flow. I don't join up with things. I don't do. I'm not a part of the typical crowd or so because I can see very clearly where the blockages are. You know, as much as possible. But this 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 Saturday at 10 p.m. Yes, at 10 p.m. I'm doing a program which is going to be very interesting and it's relating to Black history, but it's about the food that we eat. Black history and the food that we eat. Think you hear that one? Black history, the food that we eat. I'm going to have two guests this Saturday, and the guest is Tony Kelly, all the way from Birmingham. The They call him the Mr. Diabetic ambassador. Yeah, Tony Kelly, the diabetic ambassador. There he is, all the way from Birmingham. Good friends. Him cooking on his food. You know what he said to me? He said to me today. He said to me today. This is what he said to me. He said, Silver, what people don't understand is that even those smoothies that they're having, he said, they think that the smoothies is good because of the juice, but there's something else. Is that the fruit that you eat need to be bite and chopped up and then it digests itself. But when you actually just crush it down and smooth it up and everything, it just goes through. It doesn't help that much. And what he said, you should have 3 smoothies per year. I said, per year? I love making my juices, right? And then and then and then Mr. Lyndon, the inspired diabetic, was talking to him one time and he said, yam is slave food. I said, where does that come from? And he was expressing some thoughts and some views to it. And I said, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. And I said, no, we've got to talk about that. Talk about history and the food that we eat. Where is it coming from? And I heard also that diabetic people from Africa on the West Coast, where slavery was being, a lot of people were taken from the West Coast, had more diabetic because of the stress that they had to go through. And that area had the stress because of the slavery and the impact. Remember, during the course of that slavery period, people were actually capturing slaves a lot. So the people in the West were very scared. The East Coast of Africa was okay, less diabetes. Interesting. So therefore, it is Black history and the food that we eat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be awesome. That is this Saturday with Mr. Tony Kelly from Birmingham and also Mr. Lyndon Wizard, the Inspired Diabetic, at 10 p.m. this Saturday. Okay, and tomorrow night, as usual, I have the in review with both Mr. Dr. Burnett and also Keisha and Kama as well. Yeah, sugar and all those sort of things there. Yeah, all those things. The roughage is the best thing. That should be interesting, definitely. So, without further ado, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I was hoping to just do 30 minutes, but before I go, in my quest to always keep promoting Black excellence, in my quest to always promoting Black excellence, I went all the way past New York, went to Atlanta, and I found someone who reached out, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm inviting you all to be a part of the Black excellence concept. I hear Forbes are putting out X amount of Black people to say they're great. Some Patrick Vernon, they have 100, but I want to show thousands. There are thousands of persons out there of excellence, people that you've never heard before. But when you hear their story, you will be amazed. And this lady here from met you on Instagram, and powerful. Native of Brooklyn, New York, resides in Atlanta. Her two daughters, single mom, self-published author of the books. The fourth book is underway, has been through many trials, tribulations. She has dealt with the loss of her mom, sister, grandfather, grandmother, first and second daughters, fathers. Wanted to give up many times, all of it, but she endured the love for her daughters and God kept her going. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to my next Black Excellence, which is number 12. Tamika. Her name is Tamika Y. Reed. Here we go. Okay, so wonderful. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming on. Silburn, remember to like and subscribe to the Silburn Show. That would be great. Go on YouTube, Silburn TV, Silburn TV, Silburn TV, and everything. Email us at info@silburn.com if you want to be a part of Black Excellence. It's very simple. Send us 6 pictures. Send us 5, what should I say, quotes or so, which is with it. Email me at info@silburn. Silburn TV, Silburn.com. Details are there, website, Silburn.com. And let's go for it and let's really just be great. Not again, but be great together. And all the best. Thank you, Herbert. Thank you, guys, on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And those on the replay, like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe as much as possible. Okay? Peace out.